What's happening, YouTube? Early morning, man. Falad speaks back. Another video. Man, listen. This Oklahoma City team is a team that is like a sight for sore eyes. A pleasure to watch. For the type of basketball that I explained to y'all, that is the winning basketball. That is the way basketball should be played. It should be executed. That right there is the blueprint. I love this team. The best team I've seen in years. Guys working in cohesion. Dedicated to the defensive end of the floor. Good on offense. Nice, efficient. The main thing they do on offense, they don't turn the ball over. They're not going, you can't speed them up. And they control the pace. Unlike so many teams I've seen. Historically great team. They allowed Indiana to come back and steal one, and they got to be careful of that. This Indiana Pacers team, if you're not careful, they will steal those games at the end. Tyrese Halliburton is like one of the clutchest guys I've seen in a long time. You put him in that situation, he's not afraid of that moment. And those are not the moments OKC wants. As much as I love Shai Gilgeous, and Shai Gilgeous is the better player between him and Halliburton, I'm taking Shai all day. But when it comes to clutch moments and a clutch bucket, ice cold heart, I'm not sure that the clutchest player out there ain't Halliburton. And I'm not sure he ain't shown that time and time again. So OKC got to execute. And they got to make sure it does not come down to that type of stuff. You got players that get nervous in those moments. You don't want to go at this guy who clearly does not get nervous in those moments. Anyway, man. You guys, man. You guys. And listen, man, I appreciate all of you guys, man. Believe me or not, whether you agree with me, whether or not you disagree with me. But one thing I can't deal with, man, is this. This is the best thing I got for y'all, man. Is this. It's these dudes, man. These dudes. Right? You know what this is, man? This is fluffy. This is soft. That's what that is, man. It's paper, right? It breaks easy, right? Oh, if you put like a little fabric softener on it, it smells great, right? In sports, I can't relate and I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with it in sports. In sports, it has no place. It has to go. It's all a product of a loser generation right now. It's all a product of an era where people are not comfortable with the idea of a winner and a loser, which has been just the dichotomy of life since the beginning of time. In the animal kingdom, lions and other species of this type, other mammals of this type, they got to fight for their right to continue their progeny. They got to fight for their right to be the king of their pack or of their pride. You the toughest one? You win the right to go and mate with those women and have your progeny come through. The loser, hey man, you got to get your weight up, or you got to go find another pride or whatever. Or you got to go take somebody he ain't worried about. It's nature, man. It's nature. Throughout time, wars took place. There's winners, there's losers, man. Now, these are serious things, I understand, but you got to understand this is the nature of this creation that we're in. Sports is just a way for us to live out this nature without it being too serious. For the entertainment of ourselves and for others. one thing that I cannot ever praise is losers being touted. Like, and I don't even mean losers like losers of a game, because I do respect those who lose a game because you showed up and you played. You're not really, you know what I mean? I respect that. That's not what I want y'all to get what I'm saying. But what I'm talking about is the feeling that, right, you know, the loser should share in, you know, some sort of a gift, because I'm uncomfortable with that feeling, you know. So there's no feeling of, you know, come back, get yourself together, rebuild, and in return, better and improved. When you start that. So now what people want to do is, because losers can't come through, we want to change things, man. Yo, let's change rules, because like we need to, you know, help the loser out with this false idea that that's what people care about or people want to see. That's bullshit, man. What am I getting at? Like, when you change rules in order to make it easy for some, what you do is you lessen greatness, man. Where does greatness come out of? What makes a person great? Is it beating up lesser opponents in boxing? What about opponents that offer you no challenge? Or is greatness beating those that are great? Where does it come from? So the same way on a basketball court, if this player is playing against great defense, great defenders, and they score 30, is that the same as playing against a trash opponent with no defense and scoring 30? Or is the one who overcame excellent defense scoring 30 better? Come on, man. This is common sense. Many of y'all, what y'all want is, like, for it to not matter. Y'all just want to see 30 points scored, but with no, without you have to overcome anything to get to 30 points. That's what y'all want to see. But what you don't realize is that's trash. That when you do see it, it's going to be trash. And this is why I brought up the All-Star game, where dudes just letting dudes slam. We're just letting dudes just go ahead and do what they want to do. Just let them go through the lane and just do it behind the back. Why? Because you think people just want to see a behind the back dunk? I want to see a behind the back dunk. If somebody trying to stop you from doing a behind the back dunk, then you great. What made Saquon's run so great? Number one, remember that run where he dodged your defender. He spent on the next ball, then jumped backwards on the ball. It's great. Why? Because nobody's ever done it. The defense was trying to stop him, right? What if you saw the defender just sitting there ducking down just so he could do it? Would you find that entertaining? Would you find that entertaining? And that's what I be trying to say to you, Charmin, soft proponents of this soft sport that you want, man. Yo, y'all gotta wise up, bro. Y'all gotta wise up, man. You think you want to see a particular thing, that boat, then when it happens, you're not going to be happy with it. You're not going to be happy with it, but you don't have the wisdom to see that that's the problem with things like the All-Star game. That the key to sports is competition. It's not just a bunch of points, not just a bunch of circus ass shots and circus dumb shit. That's not the key. It's not the key. But I could tell by my video that I did yesterday, where I tried to make this clear as possible. Some of y'all still don't get it, man. You know why? Because you Charmin, man. Or you desire something that's beyond, or that's other than what sports is supposed to provide. You don't know what sports is supposed to provide. You following what somebody told you, and you think that's it. Well, what I'm telling you is, it's about competition. I advise all of you brothers, and you others, to go get this book called The Superior Man. It's called The Superior Man. And I forget the name of the author, but if you look up the title, you'll find it. And they break down the difference between men and women. He starts getting into a lot of spiritual language about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. I don't know, how much y'all get into it, but the point he was making here is that what men naturally crave in life, right, is number one, to be aligned with their purpose. And typically that deals with God and stuff like that for people like myself. But also what men crave and they love naturally is competition. This is why men love sports, typically more than women. This is why men crave to go out and play and compete, right? Because it's in our nature to conquer and rule and set up cities and build towns and empires and all that old good stuff, right? Women, on the other hand, just generally, not saying all, but generally, what they like or what they crave is love. That's either to be loved or to love someone. Just generally, this is the feminine trait, right? So, what I'm saying to you is, let's keep the spirit of competition with sports. And the only way you can have that is if you have equal footing for offense and defense. Equal footing for offense and defense. That there's no advantage for one side versus the other. That's the only way man is going to get what he craves. Other than that, I promise you, you're going to believe that the sport is garbage. That is bullshit. You are. You're going to go through this era where it's all this offense, then you're going to get tired of that. Then the league going to step in again and decide, okay, we got to change it a little bit. Now just more defense. And it's going to go extreme defense. When you can just leave the shit alone and let the players do what they're doing, man. Let the players do what they're doing. Now, I get what some of you Charmin dudes is talking about in terms of like, you want to remove from the game the intention to hurt people. You know what I mean? Because you don't want people hurt. But you know what's a funny thing about all that right there? Like, while you don't want people to hurt people, of course, there's a couple of things you got to kind of bear in mind with that. If you look at the NBA with all its Charmin rules and all of that, and even the NFL, you still have a lot of injuries. Why? Because the nature of the sport is physical. You have injuries that are non-contact injuries. ACLs, MCL, sprains, falling, where people just jump and dunk, fall, break bones, all types of stuff. How many injuries are really from like a dirty player doing something, if you really think about it, versus just non-contact injuries and just injuries that happen by happenstance, right? How many injuries are really from I punched you in the mouth, so you're out weak, so I need you in the chest, or I pulled you by the shoulder or the hair or something like that, so that's why you're injured, or I poked you in the eye and that's why your eye is injured. How many injuries are really like that? If you really sit back and use your freaking brain instead of just being a fucking bot who follows just whatever is out there and what people are saying. Really think about it. Injuries happen in sports. I don't care if the league steps in like the federal government, like y'all want, you DEI wanting son of a bitches. I don't care if the league steps in like the federal government and says, all right, you can't hand check, you can't do this, you can't do that, all this bullshit y'all think would make the game better. All this bullshit. Because y'all don't want great players, man. That's what pisses me off. I want a player that can score through a hand check. I want a player that can score through all that shit. That's greatness, right? But y'all want to help a little bum that don't have the ability. That's what I don't like. Y'all want to help the bums out, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all dudes, man, like y'all dudes, man. And then listen, man, like I said, I appreciate all of y'all to come through, but like some of y'all so Charmin-y, man. It was people coming in the comment section talking about, you don't have to hear about me again. I'm out. Listen, man, if you feel like that's what it is, then bye, bitch. Like, I'm never worried about that. That's going to be like no sweat off my back. if I'm talking too much of like a man for you, if it's too direct, you know what I mean? Or you can't believe I disagree. But you better not ever try to, like, no, you know my favorite ones that come in here? Y'all that try to find hypocrisy in my words. You know, you're being a hypocrite here, right? Listen, my man, I forget your name, man. But you cool, Fowler or something, right? This dude, right? He's smart, though. I like him. He tries to establish, right, that I have this bias in the way that I cover Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Though I've, like, explained a billion times over why that looks that way, it blows my mind. But he still says it, right? Okay. It's because, like I said, if Caitlin Clark has a bad game, I'll be meticulous and I'll go in on her game real crazy. Whereas Angel Reese does, I won't really say much, right? Though I've explained a million times on this channel that I hold Caitlin Clark to a standard that I don't hold Angel Reese to. And it's because of the standard that y'all gave her. ESPN says this is the 4th best player in the league, right? And my standard is, and it's always been, if you're a top 5 player, such and such like that, then I expect you to be like winning championships. Your team has to be contending. You got to be first team this. You got to be all that stuff. You need to be playing real crazy, not making a whole lot of mistakes because, hell, you're the 4th best player in the league. The 4th best. Okay? So I'm going to hold you to that type of standard. Whereas Angel Reese, hell, y'all act like she trash, she sucks, she can't do a layup. Even though those layups be defended, but y'all act like she's just out there, just her in the hoop and missing and shit. Like, y'all retarded. But that's the way y'all act, right? So, I'm saying since she sucks so bad, why would I go in on her, right? Everybody says she sucks. So what I'm just gonna, me adding to it is just redundancy, right? So that's why I don't, right? I don't know. I can say about Angel Reese, okay. Good rookie year. Second year, she needs to improve on this, needs to improve on that, and leave it at that. When she has a game that you think is bad, okay, well, she needs to improve. And then where she does do good, yes, good, Angel, you're getting better there, right? But no. You think I'm going to judge her the way I'm going to judge this person that you're saying is the greatest ever and all of that? No, I'm going to judge you the way I'm going to judge the greatest ever person, LeBron. And, you know, not saying I believe LeBron's the greatest ever, but I'm just saying that type of scale. You know, like the people that are in GOAT conversations. It's the way that works. Right? So, that's what I'm saying, bro. So, yeah, you don't have to keep coming here. You're a hypocrite and all of that. I told you this is what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know how many times I've told you that. You know, it's like, I don't understand how clearer I can be. You know, but people don't understand. Maybe I'm not that clear. Okay? Maybe I'm not that clear. But I hope that's clear. Okay, I hope that's clear. And then some of you trying to argue. Now, J Trap, I'll give you this about Dejanay. All right? You said, you gave me a word that I can accept. Like I said, I don't believe Dejanay is dirty because to me, a dirty player intentionally tries to hurt. There's few people I believe are actually dirty. You used the word she plays reckless. And you know what? I thought about that. I said, you know what? That's actually fair. That's a fair adjective to use, that she plays reckless and the way she plays can hurt somebody. But I do not believe she's intentionally trying to hurt people. And I will argue any of you down who say that, and I'm going to call you Charmin. I'm going to call you all types of stuff. Okay? Because I just think that that's just dumb. That a person will go out there, I'm intentionally trying to hurt people, but at the same time, I want to have a career. That's stupid. Right? There's too much on the line. This is a person that wants endorsements, that wants money from the game. They want these types of things. So to think that at the same time, in that same brain, I'm going to just try to hurt people is just dumb. It's dumb. Right? So that's why I argue against that. I'm just too logical for that. Way too logical for that. Okay? So anyway, man. I know this was not your typical video, you know, but it is what it is. It was what was on my heart and I felt like I needed to address. So I did. You know what I mean? So I'll get with you folks later. Peace out.